The Book of Jubilees holds many secrets that were not revealed in the traditional Bible, including the real reason Cain was jealous of Abel, amongst other things. In this video, we will explore these secrets regardless of their controversy. The Book of Jubilees, also known as the Lesser Genesis, is an ancient Jewish religious text. It is considered canonical scripture by some groups, such as the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, but it is not included in the Hebrew Bible or most Christian Bibles. Here's an overview of its content, themes, and significance. Traditionally attributed to Moses, but scholars generally agree it was written between the 2nd and 1st centuries BCE. It was likely composed by a Jewish priestly author who sought to interpret the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible, through a lens of stricter observance of the law. And it was originally written in Hebrew, though the full Hebrew text is lost. Fragments exist in Hebrew from the Dead Sea Scrolls, and the complete text survives in Ge'ez, Ethiopian, Greek and Latin translations. Jubilees is essentially a retelling of the events of Genesis and part of Exodus. It adds more details, interprets stories differently, and includes new material not found in the canonical texts. The book divides history into Jubilees, which are periods of 49 years, 7 cycles of 7 years. It gives a detailed timeline of biblical events, often aligning them with this calendar. The Book of Jubilees emphasizes the strict observance of the Mosaic law. It even suggests that patriarchs like Adam, Noah, and Abraham followed it before it was formally given at Mount Sinai. Themes of purity, Sabbath observance, dietary laws, and circumcision are particularly stressed. The narrative introduces a heavenly perspective where angels reveal the history of the world to Moses. It mentions the role of angels in creation, divine judgment, and the heavenly tablets, where all events are meticulously recorded. The Book of Jubilees provides additional details about well-known biblical stories. For instance, it explains why Cain killed Abel, and it's not what you've heard. It also delves into the sins of the Watchers, the fallen angels, and their offspring, the Nephilim. Moreover, it offers more background and actions of key figures like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Stay with us till the end, because we will be delving in greater detail into the main differences in these stories between the Bible and the Book of Jubilees. The Book of Jubilees suggests that all events are part of a divine plan pre-written on heavenly tablets. Emphasis on Jewish identity. It aims at strengthening Jewish identity during a time of cultural and religious tension, possibly in response to Hellenistic influences. Apocalyptic outlook. The text implies that history is moving toward a divine resolution with rewards for the righteous and punishment for the wicked. The Book of Jubilees was found among the Dead Sea Scrolls, which suggests it was important to the Essene community, known for their strict interpretation of the law. Influence on early Christianity and Judaism. While not considered canonical by most Jewish or Christian traditions, its ideas influenced apocalyptic literature, the development of Jewish law, and early Christian thought. Ethiopian Orthodox canon. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church includes Jubilees in its Bible, demonstrating its lasting impact in certain traditions. The Book of Jubilees offers unique insights into how ancient Jewish communities understood their sacred texts and laws. Its stricter legal interpretations and vivid retellings of biblical stories provide context for the religious, cultural, and historical environment of the Second Temple period. It also bridges the gap between traditional Jewish scripture and later apocalyptic and mystical works. Here's an expanded and detailed examination of the 10 key differences between the stories in the Book of Jubilees and the Bible, comparing their narratives, interpretations, and theological implications. 1. Jubilees asserts that Adam, Noah, and Abraham observed Mosaic laws like Sabbath observance, dietary restrictions, and circumcision. For instance, it claims Adam and his descendants kept the Sabbath from creation. Noah, he is said to receive laws about avoiding blood consumption and proper sacrifices after the flood, as found in Jubilees chapter 6, verses 1 to 10. Abraham not only circumcised himself and his household, as in Genesis 17, but also followed detailed laws about food and worship. Bible. The Bible presents the Mosaic law as uniquely revealed to Moses and the Israelites at Mount Sinai, as seen in Exodus chapter 20. Key patriarchs, Adam and Eve, No mention of the Sabbath or Mosaic laws being observed in Genesis. Noah receives a covenant after the flood in Genesis chapter 9, verses 1 to 17, but only a general prohibition against consuming blood and shedding human blood. Abraham, the covenant of circumcision in Genesis 17 is specific, but no mention of following Mosaic laws. Controversy Jubilees retroactively applies laws to a pre-Sinai context, suggesting that these were eternal laws written on heavenly tablets. This conflicts with the Bible's narrative of progressive revelation of laws. 2. Book of Jubilees introduces the idea of heavenly tablets where all events are preordained by God and recorded. Jubilees chapter 1 verses 29 to 30 states that Moses was shown these tablets which contained the history of humanity and God's laws. Bible. While God's foreknowledge and sovereignty are emphasized, such as in Isaiah 46 verse 10 and Psalm 139, the Bible does not mention heavenly tablets dictating history. Instead, the focus is often on covenant and choice, as seen in Deuteronomy chapter 30 verse 19. Choose life, so that you and your descendants may live. Controversy. Jubilee's deterministic view could be seen as limiting human free will, which is an important theme in the Bible. 3. The role of angels is quite pivotal in the Book of Jubilees. Angels play a central role in teaching humanity divine laws. For example, the angel of the presence dictates the Book of Jubilees to Moses on Mount Sinai. Moreover, angels are also heavily involved in events like the flood and the binding of Isaac. In the Bible, angels are messengers and servants of God, but their role is secondary to God's direct interaction with humanity. Key examples include the flood, where God directly commands Noah, as seen in Genesis chapters 6 through 9, with no angelic mediation mentioned. Another example is the binding of Isaac, where an angel stops Abraham from sacrificing Isaac as detailed in Genesis chapter 22. But it is clearly God's test. There is some controversy here. The overemphasis on angels in Jubilees can overshadow God's direct relationship with humans, which is a core biblical theme. 4 might just be one of the most shocking revelations of all. The Book of Jubilees expands on the story of Cain and Abel from Genesis chapter 4 by adding that their conflict arose over their sister, whom they were to marry. Cain wanted to marry her but was jealous of Abel's claim to her, as detailed in Jubilees chapter 4 verses 1 through 9. In the Bible, Genesis chapter 4 simply states that Cain killed Abel out of jealousy when God accepted Abel's offering but not his. This addition introduces some controversy. The sibling rivalry over marriage introduces speculative elements not found in the Bible, potentially altering the moral lesson of the story. 5. The Book of Jubilees expands on Genesis chapter 6 verses 1 through 4 by describing the Watchers, who are fallen angels that descended to earth, married human women, and fathered giants known as the Nephilim. These giants were violent and led humanity into sin, prompting the flood, as detailed in Jubilees chapter 5, verses 1 through 10. In the Bible, Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 through 4, briefly mentions the sons of God marrying the daughters of men, resulting in the Nephilim. However, it provides no extensive details about the Watchers or their offspring. This brings us to another point of controversy. Jubilees aligns with the Book of Enoch in elaborating on this story, but deviates from the Bible's simplicity, introducing a more mythological tone. 6. Noah and the flood. The Book of Jubilees claims that Noah received additional divine laws after the flood, including the prohibition of eating blood and laws about sacrifices. Noah is portrayed as observing the Sabbath and teaching his sons these laws, as detailed in Jubilees chapter 7, verses 20 to 39. In the Bible, Genesis chapter 9 describes God's covenant with Noah, but includes only the prohibition against consuming blood and the promise of no further global floods. There is some controversy here, as Jubilees retroactively applies Mosaic laws to Noah, diverging from the Bible's narrative of gradual covenant development. 7. Abraham and idolatry. The Book of Jubilees describes Abraham destroying his father Terah's idols and rejecting idolatry before being called by God, as found in Jubilees chapter 12, verses 1 to 14. In contrast, the Bible's Genesis makes no mention of Abraham's actions against idolatry before his calling. Instead, the focus is on God's promise to Abraham, found in Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 to 3. This edition in Jubilees portrays Abraham as a proto-Moses figure, emphasizing law over faith. 8. The binding of Isaac. The Book of Jubilees adds new elements, including Satan's role in testing Abraham's faith and Sarah's fear and grief about Isaac's sacrifice, as seen in Jubilees chapters 17 and 18. In the Bible, Genesis chapter 22 focuses on Abraham's obedience and God's provision of a ram as a substitute for Isaac, with no mention of Satan or Sarah. These additions shift the focus from Abraham's obedience to external forces influencing the event. 9. The chronology of events. The Book of Jubilees rewrites the timeline of Genesis and Exodus to fit its Jubilee framework, assigning precise dates to events based on 49-year cycles. For example, it specifies that the flood occurred exactly 1,656 years after creation. The Bible does not provide a detailed chronology for many events, allowing for interpretative flexibility. This rigid timeline creates discrepancies with traditional biblical chronology and adds speculative details. 10. Emphasis on ethnic purity. The Book of Jubilees condemns intermarriage with non-Israelites as a major sin and portrays it as a source of corruption, according to Jubilees chapter 30, verses 7 to 17. While intermarriage is discouraged in specific contexts, such as in Deuteronomy chapter 7, verses 3 to 4, the Bible includes examples of non-Israelites being included in God's covenant, like Ruth and Rahab. Jubilees takes an exclusionary stance that contrasts with the Bible's examples of inclusivity and redemption. The Book of Jubilees significantly diverges from the Bible in its retelling of stories, emphasizing stricter legalism, predestination, and mythological expansions. While it offers valuable insights into Second Temple Jewish thought, its speculative additions and theological differences make it a controversial text when compared to the canonical Bible. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to share, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.